My beloved child, I know how tired your heart has become, how waiting has stretched longer than you expected, how hope now feels heavy instead of exciting, and how each passing day asks you to keep believing without giving you anything new to hold on to. And I want you to listen to me gently now, because I have not forgotten you, not for a moment, not in this season, not in this waiting. I see the quiet exhaustion you carry, the way patience has turned into endurance, the way prayers now sound softer, not because you care less, but because you have been faithful for so long without seeing change, and I understand how deeply that wears on you. Waiting is not easy, especially when you do not know how long it will last, and I am not dismissing your weariness or asking you to pretend this is easier than it is, because your tiredness is real and it matters to me. I know you have asked yourself whether this waiting means something is wrong, whether you missed a step, whether you misunderstood my voice, or whether your time has simply passed. And I want you to hear me clearly now, because delay is not rejection, and silence is not absence. My child, I am not ignoring you, and I am not indifferent to your longing, because I see every tear you hide, every sigh you release when no one is watching, and every moment you choose to keep going, even when discouragement whispers that it would be easier to stop hoping. You are not weak for feeling tired of waiting. You are human, and even the strongest hearts grow weary when answers take time. I see how waiting has reshaped your expectations, how you no longer dream as freely as you once did, how you guard your heart now to protect it from disappointment, and I understand why you have learned to do that. My child, disappointment hurts deeply when you have believed sincerely, and protecting your heart can feel like survival. Yet I want you to know that I am gentle with your guarded hope. I am not demanding that you feel excited again, and I am not pressuring you to be optimistic, because faith does not require enthusiasm. It requires presence. Even quiet hope, even tired trust still reaches me, and I receive it with love. I know how you watch others move forward while your own life feels paused, how comparison quietly deepens the ache, and how waiting can make you feel forgotten, as though everyone else received their turn while yours keeps being delayed. And I want you to hear me now, because I do not forget my children, and I do not lose track of time in your life. My child, I am not late, and I am not careless with your story, because what I am doing in you and for you is unfolding with intention, even when it feels slow. You may not see progress, but you are not standing still in my hands, because growth often happens inwardly before it ever appears outwardly. I know you are tired of praying the same prayers, tired of repeating the same words, tired of hoping for something to change, and I understand how repetition without results drains motivation. Yet I want you to hear this truth now, because prayer is not wasted because it is repeated. My child, prayer keeps you connected to me in the waiting, and connection matters more than immediate answers. I am not measuring your faith by how inspired your prayers sound, and I am not distant because your words feel simple or tired, because even silent prayer, even tired trust still reaches me, and I receive it with love. I know how you watch others move forward while your own life feels paused, how comparison quietly deepens the ache, and how waiting can make you feel forgotten, as though everyone else received their turn while yours keeps being delayed. And I want you to hear me now, because I do not forget my children, and I do not lose track of time in your life. My child, I am not late, and I am not careless with your story, because what I am doing in you and for you is unfolding with intention, even when it feels slow. You may not see progress, but you are not standing still in my hands, because growth often happens inwardly before it ever appears outwardly.
I know you are tired of praying the same prayers, tired of repeating the same words, tired of hoping for something to change, and I understand how repetition without results drains motivation. Yet I want you to hear this truth now, because prayer is not wasted because it is repeated. My child, prayer keeps you connected to me in the waiting, and connection matters more than immediate answers. I am not measuring your faith by how inspired your prayers sound, and I am not distant because your words feel simple or tired, because even silent prayer, even presence without words, is still relationship. You do not need to perform faith for me. You only need to remain open. I see how waiting has made you question your worth, as though progress would prove your value, and delay must mean you matter less. And I want you to hear me clearly now, because your worth has never depended on timing. My child, you are loved now, not later, valued now, not when things change, and nothing about this waiting diminishes who you are to me. I am not withholding change because you are unworthy, and I am not testing your endurance to see how much you can tolerate, because my love is not proven through suffering. Sometimes waiting protects you. Sometimes it prepares you. Sometimes it aligns circumstances you cannot yet see, and none of that means you have been forgotten. I know how tired you are of being patient, of being strong, of being understanding, and I want you to know that you are allowed to bring that fatigue to me honestly. My child, you do not need to pretend waiting is easy, and you do not need to hide your frustration, because honesty deepens relationship. When you tell me you are tired, I listen. When you tell me you are discouraged, I stay near. And when you feel like giving up, I hold you steady. You are not disappointing me by feeling weary. You are simply revealing where you need my strength instead of your own. I see how waiting has slowed you down, forced you into stillness you did not choose, and I understand how uncomfortable that feels. Yet I want you to know that stillness is not punishment. My child, stillness creates space for things that movement cannot, for clarity, for healing, for realignment, and for trust that does not depend on speed. You are learning how to remain with me without rushing ahead, and that lesson will serve you long after this season ends. You are not wasting time here, even though it feels unproductive, because time spent learning to trust me is never wasted. I know you wonder how much longer this will last, whether change will come soon, whether you will recognize it when it does, and I understand that uncertainty weighs heavily. Yet I want you to hear me now, because you do not need to know when waiting will end to know that I am with you in it. My child, I am near in every unchanged day, every repeated prayer, every quiet moment of endurance, and my nearness is not dependent on visible progress. You are not waiting alone, and you are not unseen, because I am walking with you through this season, even when it feels long. So stay with me here, even if your hope feels tired, even if your faith feels quiet, even if your heart feels worn, because I have not forgotten you and I will not abandon you in this waiting. You do not need to force yourself to feel stronger. You only need to stay, because staying keeps you connected to the one who carries you. Even now, even in this season, I am working in ways you cannot yet see, and when the time comes, you will understand why waiting did not mean forgetting, but care.
My beloved child, I know how waiting begins to feel endless when days turn into weeks and weeks turn into seasons, when nothing visibly shifts and your heart quietly asks how much longer it can endure. And I want you to listen to me gently now, because even in this long waiting, I see you. I see the effort it takes to wake up each day and continue without answers, the discipline it requires to remain kind when frustration grows, and the courage it takes to keep believing when hope feels tired. And none of this is invisible to me. Waiting may feel like standing still, but you are not unseen and you are not idle in my presence, because every moment you remain faithful is shaping you in ways you cannot yet measure. I know how easy it is to feel overlooked in waiting, as though life is happening elsewhere while you remain paused, watching others move forward, achieve milestones, and celebrate breakthroughs.
and I understand how comparison quietly deepens the ache. Yet I want you to hear me clearly now, because I am not distracted by others' journeys, and I am not delayed by what I am doing in your life. My child, your story is not on hold, and your life is not forgotten, even when progress is quiet. I am working with intention, not urgency, because what I am preparing requires depth, stability, and readiness that cannot be rushed. You may feel behind, but you are exactly where you need to be to receive what is coming without harm. I see how waiting has made you question whether you should adjust your expectations, settle for less, or stop hoping altogether. And I understand why protecting your heart feels necessary after repeated disappointment. Yet hear me now, because hope does not need to be abandoned to be safe. My child, you can hold hope gently, without gripping it tightly. You can trust without demanding timelines, and you can remain open without exposing yourself to constant pain. I am not asking you to dream recklessly. I am asking you to stay connected, because connection sustains you when outcomes remain unclear. You do not need to know how everything will unfold to know that I am faithful. I know how waiting makes you second-guess your prayers, wondering if you asked correctly, if you persisted enough, if you believed strongly enough. And I want you to hear me clearly now, because my response to you is not dependent on perfect faith. My child, prayer is not a test you pass or fail. It is a relationship that holds you steady while answers take shape. I receive your prayers even when they sound tired, repetitive, or uncertain, and I remain near even when words run out. You are not unheard because answers are delayed, and you are not forgotten because silence remains, because silence often carries my presence more deeply than noise. I see how waiting has slowed you down, forced you to confront thoughts and feelings you once outran, and I understand how uncomfortable that has been. Yet I want you to know that slowing is not loss, it is invitation. My child, stillness gives space for healing, clarity, and alignment that constant motion cannot provide. You are learning to listen more deeply, to notice what matters, and to trust me without constant confirmation. And these lessons will anchor you long after this season passes. What feels like delay now is often preparation for peace later. I know you sometimes feel tempted to take control, to force movement, to create change simply to escape the discomfort of waiting. And I understand that urge because stillness feels powerless. Yet hear me now, because movement without guidance often leads to regret, while waiting with me leads to wisdom. My child, staying does not mean doing nothing. It means choosing trust over impulse, patience over panic, and faith over fear. And those choices matter deeply. You are not passive here. You are actively learning how to rest in my timing, and that learning will protect you in future seasons of change. I know how waiting has made you test your endurance, how strength feels thinner than it once did. And I want you to hear this truth now, because endurance does not come from pushing harder, it comes from staying connected. My child, you do not need to carry this season alone, and you do not need to pretend you're stronger than you feel, because I am near, offering my presence as support. When weariness rises, come to me. When doubt whispers, sit with me. And when frustration grows, speak to me honestly, because honesty keeps you close and closeness sustains you. I know how waiting has changed the way you see time, how days feel longer, how patience feels heavier, and how uncertainty stretches your heart. And I understand why you long for reassurance. Yet I want you to hear me now, because reassurance is not always found in timelines, it is found in trust. My child, you do not need to know when change will come to know that it will, and you do not need a schedule to remain faithful. Stay with me today, not because today is easy, but because today is where grace is given. Tomorrow will come with what it needs, and you will not face it without me. I see how waiting has forced you to worry, that waiting might change you in ways you do not want, making you bitter, closed or resigned, and I understand that fear. Yet I want you to know that waiting with me changes you gently. My child, I am guarding your heart even now, shaping you with compassion rather than hardness, and teaching you how to trust without losing tenderness. You are not becoming smaller in this season. You are becoming deeper, and depth will serve you well when movement returns. So remain here with me, even when waiting feels long, even when answers feel distant, and even when hope feels tired, because I see you, I know you, and I have not forgotten you. This season is not invisible, and you are not alone within it, because I am near, attentive, and faithful, and I will continue to walk with you until waiting gives way to what comes next.
My beloved child, I know how waiting wears down your strength in quiet ways, not all at once, but gradually, through days that ask the same patience from you again and again, through nights when you lie awake, wondering how much longer you can endure without seeing change. And I want you to listen to me gently now, because you do not have to be strong in this season. You only have to stay with me. I see how your energy feels thinner than before, how motivation rises more slowly, how even simple acts of faith sometimes feel heavy. And I understand how discouraging that can be, especially when you expected waiting to be temporary. My child, your weariness does not disappoint me, and it does not disqualify you from what is coming, because reaching the edge of your strength is not failure. It is the place where my strength meets you most clearly. I know you have been holding yourself together longer than you thought you would need to, drawing on reserves you did not know were limited, and I understand why you feel depleted now. Waiting asks you to trust without reward, to endure without clarity, and to hope without evidence, and that kind of endurance costs something real. Yet hear me clearly now, because you were never meant to sustain yourself indefinitely, and I do not expect you to carry this season on your own. My child, you do not need to manufacture strength you do not have. You do not need to motivate yourself through pressure or guilt, and you do not need to hide your exhaustion from me, because I am gentle with your limits, and I am present to support you when your energy runs low. I see how low strength affects your thoughts, making doubts louder, patience thinner, and discouragement more convincing. And I want you to remember this, because weariness distorts perspective. My child, do not judge your future by how things feel when you are tired, and do not make lasting conclusions in moments of exhaustion, because tired hearts struggle to see clearly. You are not losing faith because you feel worn down. You are simply tired, and tiredness calls for care, not criticism. Come to me with what you have left, even if it feels small, because small trust placed in me is still trust, and I will meet it with my fullness. I know you sometimes feel ashamed of your fatigue, as though you should be more patient, more hopeful, more resilient by now, and I want you to release that shame now, because it does not come from me. My child, weariness is not sin, and needing support is not weakness, it is honesty. You have been faithful longer than you expected to be, and that faithfulness has weight, even if it does not feel impressive to you. I am not measuring you by how energized you feel, and I am not withdrawing because your strength is low, because my love does not fluctuate with your capacity. Stay with me here, without pretending to be stronger than you are, because honesty keeps you close, and closeness is what sustains you. I know how waiting has made you cautious, how you conserve energy, lower expectations, and move more slowly, and I understand why you do this, because you are protecting what little strength you have left. My child, there is wisdom in moving gently, and there is no shame in pacing yourself, because endurance is not about speed, it is about staying present. You are not required to run through this season, and you are not expected to push yourself beyond your limits, because I am not in a hurry that harms you. When you move slowly with me, you remain grounded, and grounded hearts are able to receive renewal when it comes.
I know you worry that this weariness will change you, making you less joyful, less hopeful, less alive. And I understand that fear, yet I want you to hear me clearly now, because weariness does not have the final word over who you are becoming. My child, I am guarding your heart even in this low place, shaping you gently and teaching you how to depend on me rather than on endless energy. You are not becoming weaker in ways that matter. You are becoming more aware of where your strength truly comes from, and that awareness will serve you well long after this season passes. I see how you sometimes try to motivate yourself by imagining the future, by telling yourself that things will change eventually, that waiting will end someday. And while hope matters, I want you to hear this truth now, because you do not need to survive this season by constantly looking ahead. My child, you are invited to live here, in this moment with me, drawing strength day by day rather than all at once. I will give you what you need for today, not all at once, not in advance, but faithfully as you walk. You do not need to store energy for tomorrow, because tomorrow will bring its own provision. I know how tiring it feels to remain patient when you don't know how long patience will be required. And I want you to hear me now, because I am not asking you to endure this season through sheer determination. My child, let me hold you when your strength feels low. Let me carry you when your steps feel heavy, and let me sustain you when you feel empty. You are not required to be strong in this season. You are invited to be held, and being held is enough. So rest here with me, without forcing yourself to feel different, without judging your fatigue, and without fearing what this weariness means. My child, I am near, especially now when your strength feels worn down, and I will continue to support you, replenish you, and guide you through this waiting, one gentle step at a time.
My beloved child, I know how doubt slips in quietly during long waiting, how it does not arrive loudly but settles gently, asking questions that sound reasonable, questions that wonder whether you have been overlooked, whether your prayers have faded into silence, whether time has moved on without you. And I want you to listen to me gently now, because doubt does not mean I am distant. It means you are tired of carrying uncertainty alone. I see how waiting has created space for these thoughts, how silence has given them room to grow, and I understand why they feel convincing. Yet I am speaking to you now to remind you of something deeper than circumstance, because my faithfulness does not waver when your feelings do. You are not forgotten, and you have not been set aside, because I remember you fully, attentively, and with love. I know how doubt makes you look back, replaying moments, wondering whether you missed a sign or misunderstood my voice, and I understand how unsettling that reflection can be, because unanswered questions invite self-blame. Yet hear me clearly now, because doubt does not rewrite truth, and silence does not erase my promises. My child, you are not required to have perfect understanding to remain in my care, and you do not need to retrace every step to be secure. I am not holding your past decisions against you, and I am not measuring you by outcomes, because I am faithful to you as a person, not as a performance. When doubt whispers that you have been forgotten, return to who I am, because my character does not change with seasons. I see how waiting has made you sensitive to every delay, every closed door, every unanswered prayer, and I understand why it feels personal. Yet I want you to remember that timing is not judgment. My child, delay is not evidence of neglect, and stillness is not proof of distance, because I work with care, not haste, and with intention, not indifference. There are things I protect you from by waiting, and there are things I prepare you for through patience, and both come from love. You may not see the full picture yet, but my faithfulness is steady even when progress is quiet. I know how doubt can erode trust over time, not through one great disappointment, but through many small ones, each unanswered prayer adding weight, each unchanged day asking more endurance, and I understand how heavy that accumulation feels. Yet hear me now, because faithfulness is not measured by how quickly things change, but by how consistently I remain near. My child, I have been with you in every moment of this season, in the days you felt hopeful and in the days you felt empty, and nothing about your waiting has gone unnoticed. You are not remembered only when things improve. You are remembered always. I see how doubt tempts you to interpret silence as absence, and I want you to hear this truth settled gently within you, because silence often carries presence more deeply than words. My child, when answers do not arrive immediately, it does not mean I am far away. It often means I am working in ways that require time to unfold. Trust grows in silence, not because silence is easy, but because it teaches you to rely on my nearness rather than on constant reassurance. You do not need continuous confirmation to be secure. You need remembrance of my faithfulness, and that remembrance steadies your heart when doubt rises. I know how you long for something tangible, something visible, something that confirms you are still on the right path, and I understand why waiting without signs feels risky. Yet hear me now, because faith does not always come with visible markers, and trust does not always feel certain. My child, you are not lost because you feel unsure, and you are not forgotten because progress is slow, because I am guiding you gently, even when direction feels subtle. You are learning how to walk by trust rather than by sight, and that learning will serve you well when change comes. I see how doubt has made you cautious, how you hesitate to hope fully, how you protect yourself from disappointment by lowering expectations, and I understand why that feels safer. Yet I want you to know that you do not need to abandon hope to be wise, and you do not need to close your heart to be protected. My child, hope does not require certainty. It requires trust in me, and trust grows as you remember my faithfulness over time. Look back gently and notice how many times I have carried you through seasons you once thought would break you, because those moments are not accidents, they are reminders of my care. I know you sometimes feel like asking me to prove that I am still with you, to show you something, to change something, to reassure you, and I understand that desire. Yet I want you to hear me clearly now, because my presence is not conditional on signs. My child, I am near even when nothing dramatic happens, and I am faithful even when outcomes are delayed. You are not required to see everything clearly to be loved deeply, and you are not required to feel confident to be held securely. Doubt may visit, but it does not get to define your story, because my faithfulness defines it. I see how remembering my faithfulness brings a quiet steadiness, even if only briefly, and I want you to return to that remembrance now. I have carried you before, I am carrying you now, and I will carry you forward. My child, doubt does not cancel my care, and waiting does not diminish my love, because I am the same in every season, attentive, patient, and near. Stay with me when questions arise, because staying keeps you anchored in truth, even when emotions shift. So when doubt whispers that you have been forgotten, answer it with remembrance, not with argument, and let my faithfulness speak louder than uncertainty. Remain here with me without demanding proof or rushing clarity, because my presence is enough to sustain you until the next chapter begins. I am near, even now, and I will continue to be near, faithfully, gently, and with love.
My beloved child, I know the moment when weariness turns into temptation, when waiting has lasted so long that giving up feels easier than hoping again, when letting go seems safer than staying open. And I want you to listen to me gently now, because you are closer than you think, and I have not forgotten you. I see how discouragement whispers that nothing will change, that your patience has been wasted, that your faith has gone unnoticed, and I understand why those thoughts feel convincing after such a long season. Yet hear me clearly now, because the moment you feel most tempted to give up is often the moment just before something shifts, not always outwardly at first, but inwardly in strength, clarity, and readiness. You are not standing at the end of your story. You are standing at a threshold, even if it feels invisible.
I know how tired you are of being resilient, of staying hopeful, of choosing trust when nothing seems to confirm it, and I do not minimize that fatigue. My child, staying does not mean pretending everything is fine. It means remaining connected even when you feel worn down, even when your hope feels thin, even when faith feels more like endurance than excitement. You are not required to feel strong to stay with me. You are only asked to remain, because remaining keeps your heart open to what I am doing, even when you cannot see it yet. I am not asking you to commit forever in this moment. I am asking you to stay a little longer, one breath, one day, one step at a time. I see how giving up feels like relief, like an end to uncertainty, like a way to stop the ache of waiting, and I understand why that temptation is strong. Yet I want you to hear me now, because giving up may quiet the ache temporarily, but it also closes the door to what could still unfold. My child, staying does not mean forcing outcomes. It means trusting that your story is still being written, even when the page looks blank. You do not need to know how things will change to believe that they can, and you do not need to feel hopeful to remain faithful. Faithfulness in this moment looks like staying, not striving. I know you sometimes feel foolish for continuing to hope, as though patience makes you naive, and I want you to hear me clearly now, because patience rooted in trust is not foolishness, it is courage. My child, it takes courage to stay open after disappointment, courage to keep believing after delay, and courage to trust me when circumstances remain unchanged. I am not asking you to ignore reality. I am asking you to interpret it through my faithfulness rather than through fear. Reality does not define my ability, and timing does not define my care, because I am working beyond what you can see. I see how you have grown quieter in this season, more reflective, more cautious, and I understand why. Yet I want you to know that quiet growth is still growth. My child, you are not losing ground, you are gaining depth, and depth will sustain you when movement returns. What feels like stagnation now is often stabilization, strengthening your foundation so that what comes next does not overwhelm you. I am not delaying to frustrate you. I am preparing you to receive what is coming with peace rather than fear. I know you wonder whether staying will make a difference, whether your continued faithfulness matters, and I want you to hear me now, because it does. My child, staying shapes your heart, preserves your tenderness, and keeps you connected to me, and connection is where life flows. You are not staying for nothing, and you are not enduring in vain, because every day you remain open, you are choosing trust over despair, and that choice matters deeply. I see it, I honor it, and I am near in it. I see how giving up feels tempting when you are tired of being strong, and I want you to know that you are allowed to rest without quitting. My child, resting does not mean surrendering hope. It means letting me hold you while you recover. You do not need to push yourself to feel different, and you do not need to force enthusiasm, because renewal comes gently, not through pressure. Stay with me here, in this quiet place, and allow yourself to be supported rather than strained. I know you want reassurance that staying will lead somewhere, that this season will end, that change will come, and I want you to hear me clearly now, because it will. My child, seasons do not last forever, even when they feel endless, and waiting does not define your future. It shapes how you arrive there. You will look back one day and see that what felt like forgetting was actually care, that what felt like delay was protection, and that what felt like stillness was preparation. Until that day, you are not alone, because I am walking with you through every unchanged moment. So stay with me a little longer, even if you are tired, even if you are unsure, even if hope feels thin, because I have not forgotten you, and I am not finished with your story. You do not need to see the next chapter yet. You only need to stay connected to the one who is writing it. My beloved child, remain here, rest here, and trust that even in waiting, you are held, remembered, and deeply loved. If this message spoke to your heart, encouraged you to keep going, or reminded you that you are not forgotten, subscribe to this channel and stay close, because I will continue to walk with you, speak peace over you, and remind you again and again that waiting does not mean forgetting.